So this is the LTOP lobby, right in front of the registration area here. We have 5 registration spaces. Each one you'll notice is lower and then higher so that we can accommodate patients with special needs. So either one, any one that can either come up into a wheelchair, we can put a chair beside so they have a lower surface to fill out paperwork on. If we make our way down this way here, we'll also be coming up to the philanthropy wall. We worked with the philanthropy group out of Rochester to come up with a creative design with all these, and I think they did a really lovely job. Really did our donors proud. If we make our way this way, again, we have the O'Gorman Lounge. You notice that it overlooks the Valley View Cafe, which is a really lovely area that we have that our dietary staff have actually named. Right in front here, we have a provider wall. Sometimes if you're a new patient with us, you don't necessarily know what your provider should look like or who they are. So this is a really nice feature for us. Once you're called back, you're going to be going through this area right here, which is our depart scheduling space. You'll notice that there's only one doorway in and out of the clinic for patients. That's intentional because as we see our patients in the clinic rooms, we want to make sure that they stop on their way out to schedule their next appointment. A lot of times what happens is the provider will say, you know, I want to see you another 2 weeks just for some follow-up to make sure that you're doing all right. And inevitably what happens is our patients will forget to make the appointment. Then it's a little bit of rework for our staff to have to go through and try to figure out when you would actually due again to come back. So we actually are just going to ask people to stop, make your next appointment. If you need to reschedule it due to conflicts, we can do that. But we want to make sure we get something on the books so we don't lose track of your care. So this is our clinic space. We have 2 neighborhoods currently functioning. You'll see we have the blue neighborhood here and a green neighborhood over here. We try to make it easier for our patients to find those rooms. So you'll notice the wayfinding here with you see the blue walls, blue carpeting, blue signage. On the other side, you have green walls, green carpeting, green signage. So all of our clinic rooms are standard, meaning they're all the same. They all have the same equipment. They all have this, the exact same equipment in the exact same place in all the rooms. Every room has a scale inside the rooms. One of the dissatisfiers that we've heard from our patients in our current facility is that we actually have 2 central weigh stations, basically. So as you come in, you get weighed in the hallway, which is, you know, I'm not sure about you, but I don't want people knowing what to weigh all the time. So we also provided a scale in every single room. And then we also provide this in-floor scale here as well. So for those individuals who are maybe wheelchair bound or maybe a little bit too frail to stand on the scale, we want to make sure that we're still safe. But it's really important that we get a weight so we can know how to manage medications. So for medication dosing, really important for us. We also will have a baby scale back here. Like I mentioned, we don't have a huge pediatric practice yet. So this is rather than buying a piece of pediatric equipment for every single room, we have one central one here that we can use. We will be heading towards the Bringhold Rehabilitation Center. Like I mentioned, this is a donated space as well.
So as everyone's coming in, you're going to see that we have 4 private treatment rooms. They have sliding doors to maximize the efficiency of the room and space. Every room is going to have a high-low mat table, as well as the area for clean linen, a sink, much bigger than the space that we had before in our 1 treatment room. This room right here is a bariatric treatment room, so just a little bit more room for the people who need it, and that's going to be where our vestibular therapy and lymphedema therapy are, so we have more room for our specialties as well. We have a bathroom now, and we didn't have a bathroom in our space before, so patients had to go out and find the other one, and now it's right in our area, so that's wonderful. So we're going to be having 2 to 3 times the pieces of equipment that we did in our previous facility. So we have 4 PTs, 2 OTs, 1 speech therapist, and 1 cardiac rehab therapist. And most of all of us work in this outpatient, this area, but then we also have a separate inpatient area as well, and that's upstairs. So now we have 2 areas versus 1, and the size is amazing, much bigger.
So if we head back this way, we're going to actually come into the back side of the clinic here. In the design of the building, we really wanted to make sure that we had a front of the house, sort of back of the house philosophy. You notice that we have some provider offices on the back wall here. Again, you notice that the carpeting indicates the neighborhood, so blue carpeting, blue neighborhood. One of the technologies that we placed, I mentioned those Voicera badges, we also are utilizing those with our staff as well. So each of our staff members doing clinical work will wear a badge, so we can communicate with each other very easily without having to find a phone or look up a number. I can just say a person's name, it'll automatically connect to their badge. That technology is also inside each of the rooms, so with our 4-button nurse call system, if I need a lab draw in the room, I'm going to push the button in the room and it's going to notify the person working lab in this neighborhood to say, I have a lab draw in, say, blue exam room 3. So the patient isn't traveling from their room over to lab, get their lab draw, walk back to their room. We're going to bring the services to the patient so that the lab person will come to the room, draw the lab, bring it back here and tube it through a tube system in the ceiling over to the lab where they will start processing their blood. Our goal is that we'll have those results available for you before the end of your visit. So that's sort of phase 2 of our, after we move in, that'll be the work that we'll be doing, trying to decrease those times for results.
Yeah, so some of the great new features about our rooms is we now have a sliding door that opens and closes. If we have time, I'll show you really quick. It has a nice little feature where it has that soft close. It also has more space to get in and out with like a stroller, wheelchair, walker. We also have a new storage space that you can access both in and outside of the room. We also have our computers in the room for access to the electronic medical record. Phones now, which are new, to call from within the exam room. New patient beds that actually get very low to the ground and then can be raised up and down depending on what the need of the patient was. We also have individual scales that will be put into the room so people can be weighed in private in the clinic room, which is a nice new change too.
So this is second floor. If we want to take a peek right inside the pharmacy here, it's probably your only opportunity to ever get inside a pharmacy. No good stuff in there yet. So this lab space is probably at least double, if not more, our current facility. I learned a lot about pharmacy in this building project, probably more than I ever needed to know. But you'll notice some of the features that we put in here is all the slats that where all the medication is stored is at a slant. And that's done intentionally because we want to do that first in, first out philosophy. Just like at the grocery store, you want to make sure that the stuff that's going to expire first is sold first. We also created and designed this movable picking table. And this is really an awesome thing because currently our pharmacy tech has to literally pick all the stuff on the shelves, carry all that stuff over in her hands and onto a desk, then try to sort it all, then mix it, then make sure it's put in the right place. This way that she can literally pick as she goes, do the binding or do the organization of it, and then it's ready to go out to the patients. So you'll also notice that we have an IV prep room as well. Per the Board of Pharmacy and Code, we have to provide a separate room for us to mix IV medications. So there's actually a hood in there that we have to work under to make sure that we're maintaining sterility for those things. We also have a manager's office here. And one of the things that we tried to do in the design of the building is make sure that we are thinking forward what the next thing might be. And so on the other side of this space, when we get around there, I'll kind of point it out, there's a consult room for surgery patients. That room is also vented for a chemotherapy hood. So in the event that we ever start doing chemotherapy service here, we can actually open up the wall and just buy the hood, and it's already vented out to the ceiling. So we try actually save some cost in the long run by doing that now, even though we don't have the service yet available. So this is our inpatient therapy suite. So we talked to Alicia downstairs in the outpatient therapy. This is the inpatient side. So as patients have surgery or are getting some sort of rehabilitation here, we want to make sure that they're going to be safe to go home after we've treated them. So we actually have a full working kitchen in here. There's a dishwasher, there's a stove, there's a fridge that's coming as well, microwave. It's for us to see how easily a patient is going to be independent when they go home. We want to make sure that they're able to turn the stove on and off, for example, before they go home. Independence is very important to a lot of people. We want to make sure that we're promoting that safely as well. You'll notice that there's a lift system in here as well. We want to make sure that we're transporting our patients safely, and also we're saving our nurses and our therapists' backs from transferring patients on and off carts and wheelchairs and beds and whatnot. So you notice that this system is also in every single patient room. It was a really good investment for us to make sure that we're handling our patients safely. One other thing, at the very end of the hall, what we also did, we also have a tub room with a whirlpool tub for our long-term care patients, but we also put in a apartment grade tub for them to do assessments in a wet environment. So can a person get in and out of a tub safely and those sorts of things. So we actually have 2 tubs in that room, one specifically just to do these assessments. So when we did a mock-up of this room at the mall, just like we did downstairs in the inpatient side, or pardon me, the outpatient side, we actually designed this whole room around one piece of equipment. It was actually our sharps container. And the reason being is because there's a certain code that it has to be a certain height. We want to make sure that it's close to the bed so we're not walking with a sharp object either around the bed or across the room to maintain safety. If you're in there working with another nurse or CNA, we don't want to literally stab them with a needle, right? So the entire room was actually designed around that piece of equipment. These rooms are about 235 square feet compared to our current hospital, which ranges anywhere from, gosh, I would say 150 or less. Most of our current facilities do not have their private bathroom, nor does it have a private shower. All of these rooms, like I mentioned, are standard. They're all the same. They're all single occupancy. They all have showers. They all have individual toilets. So just a couple of things here. So we have this is our main nurse station here. We actually went to a decentralized nursing model, meaning that we actually are staffing nursing on both sides of the hospital. So we have a nurse station here. We also have a nurse station on the very far end, intentionally. The design of the building actually narrows a little bit as it goes a little bit more to the west, intentionally, so that those rooms that are closer to the nurse station intended for our more critically ill patients. So our nurses are able to respond faster. We actually can see them a little bit quicker. As we make our way around the corner here, we're going to come up to the Showquist Family Lounge and Multi-Activity Room. Again, this was a donated space. The activity room right here isn't really intended for patients and families to come, maybe get out of the room for a few minutes or an hour or two. There's going to be a TV in here. We have the ability to do puzzles on a table. We also are putting internet access in this room as well for our family members to hop online, answer email, Skype loved ones, for example. I'm not sure if you heard Dr. Noseworthy mention that we actually do see a lot of patients that aren't from here. A lot of patients will come to Mayo Clinic in Rochester for services, and they're actually brought here to recover in a skilled nursing bed. It's less expensive for the patient, it's less expensive for the organization for us to care for them than to care for them in Rochester, because our operational costs are a little bit lower. If you go into here, this is our family lounge space. Again, this room can be utilized by our inpatients and their families. Is also multi-use for our family members who are waiting for their loved ones in surgery. We have plumbed coffee and ice and water throughout the facility. This is our infusion therapy room. You'll notice we have 3 different stations for infusion therapy compared to none right now. We do see infusion therapy patients, but it's usually a one-on-one nurse. So infusion therapy are those patients who need to come in for, say, IV medications every day for a certain period of time. Things like IV antibiotics, if they're coming in maybe for blood transfusions. They usually, typically they will come for an extended period of time for several hours at a time. So currently, typically I think the average infusion therapy patient is here at least 3 hours. And they will sit and get an IV drip for several times, and they usually come 3 to 4 days a week. With this setup the way we have it here, we actually can utilize 1 nurse for 3 patients, where in our current facility it's basically a 1-to-1 because we just don't have the space to house more than that in one area. So if we make our way, we're going to go into the surgery suite over to the right.
So we have a sleep study tech that will sit there. He comes from Rochester, and we have 2 sleep study rooms, and we do those on usually Wednesday evenings, depending on the population of the patients that need it. Once you turn 50, we give you a birthday present that says, "Hey, happy birthday! Come on in for a colonoscopy." What we do in here is we have cancer prevention, so we're really passionate about our cancer screening. We keep our patients in a pool. Right now I think we have anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 patients that we're constantly monitoring and calling and saying, we call our patients 3 times and send a letter, and then you're on your own. We feel like we need to give you that time to say, hey, you need this done. It's very important for screening purposes. So now we're hitting the OR here, so if you pass this area, you have to have your hat on, you have to have your scrubs on, you have to have your booties on. So this is our dictation room for the physicians. We put our carts here. We have JACO rules, so we can't put any carts in the hallways. Scrub sink, and well, the only physician that can reach that is Dr. Hughes. He's about 6'5". All the other ones probably won't be able to see over there. And this is our OR. So this is about 2 to 3 times our size. So we have the booms that our equipment will sit on, and we have the anesthesia boom, and everything will be piped through the ceiling now. We'll have no cords on the ground. All of our instrumentation, some of it will be here, and then through that door is where our cleaning equipment is. So the circulator can just bop on in there and not have to scrub out anything and take her down her booties out and everything. So that right there is where we'll put your name on the board, and We do a timeout with every surgery that says, hey, this is the right person, the right procedure, in the right area, and the right date of birth. So we make sure that everything is really, really safe prior to starting. Then, once we're done with surgery, we have a decontam room where we take all of the dirty instruments and we wash them by hand, scrub off all the bad stuff. This is where you'll wake up from surgery.
All right, so this is our lower level. Our history wall here. Some of our employees who have actually been here for a while have actually worked with a group out of Rochester and some of our local historians to get all this information. It's really kind of amazing that we actually found more connections to Mayo Clinic than we actually thought we had, which was really kind of neat. So on the right-hand side here, we have 2 conference rooms that can either be opened up into one large room or divided in half for 2 separate rooms. In our current space, we actually use a living room of a house for our conference room. So this is much needed, and we really appreciate it. We also have state-of-the-art AV equipment located in there, so we can teleconference. A lot of our staff travels between sites, and we actually do a lot of teleconferencing, so we're decreasing windshield time driving. Also, it's a little bit less expensive because we're not paying mileage.
Welcome to the Valley View Cafe. We got our name very creatively by looking out the window with the view of the valley. Like Vaughn had said, our current facility holds elbow to elbow 20 to 25 people. This holds 40 to 50 people comfortably. The tables that you do see set up here are not going to be the tables that are here when our facility opens. They will be spread all throughout this area here. Our kitchen in the old facility versus this one. This is 3 times the size. And the joke of the kitchen is I know what you're cooking because chances are I got some flour or something from what you made on me. That's how small our facility is right now. Contrary to popular belief, we are open to the public. We do serve breakfast and lunch Monday through Friday. It's a nice open walk-through feel, and the kitchen itself is open so that us ladies in the kitchen can see when our customers need us and we can be there very efficiently to get them through to get their bellies full. Right through the entrance right here, you will see the Wilcox patio out there. It is open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now we live in Minnesota, so it could close as early as September, but it could also stay open until November, weather permitting. The far corner over there, we do have some more comfortable chairs after you've had the large breakfast that you're going to encounter here with coffee. You may need a chair to sit down for a while before you move on to your next destination.
As we work this way, we have the First Farmers and Merchants Bank administrative suites. But our philosophy of administration is any part of our hospital that helps support the patient practice. So that means we have, of course, some managers, some leaders back here, but we also have IT, we have public affairs, we have billing, we have finance. We also have our scheduling coordinator down here, HIM. We all office out of this space. As we walk in here, you're going to notice that there's going to be 2 touchdown spaces. There's a 4 space on this side, and there's going to be a private office on the right. We did that because a lot of our staff actually travel between different sites to provide services. So we want to make sure that we provided a space for them to comfortably sit and work for the day. And as we work down here, I'll kind of point out, this is my office actually right here. Our public affairs. We have our nurse educator, our director of nursing. So as we get into the back here a little bit, we have our operations administrator office. We also have a conference room here. Like the conference rooms that I mentioned down when we first got off the elevator, they're a little bit larger. This is really intended for a smaller group. We don't want maybe a group of 5 or 6 taking up a whole conference room, but we can do that here. So this also is equipped with audio-visual equipment for us to do teleconferencing as well. Operations administrator office, and we also have our director of finance here. We also have some cubes you'll notice back here. Our quality folks actually office out of 2 of these cubes. We have an administrative assistant and also our patient experience coordinator. This is our mail room. We actually have about 20 feet of counter space in this room compared to none at our current facility, 0. So one of the great things of being affiliated with Rochester and Mayo Clinic is that we have resources that we can share between different sites. So we actually received all of this for free. It's about $70,000 worth of equipment that we didn't have to pay for. So we really appreciate that. We have a workbench here for IT. So our IT folks who are here on site, office out of here, our break-fix team. So if they need to re-image computers, get you set up with internet, if things go down, they're here on site, which is really nice. We also have our human resource offices here at the very end. You'll notice that this whole space is really designed in a horseshoe, which is intentional. We wanted to make sure that a door was right next to our HR department. So in the event that we do need to talk with a staff member and a leader together, we don't want that staff member walking in front of everybody to go to HR and they have to walk in front of everybody on the way out. Just in the event that's maybe not a good conversation. The other thing is if we have potential employees coming, it's really intimidating if you're a potential employee having to walk in front of everybody doing this and watching to see who the new guy is. So we have this back sort of door so that a patient or a person can come and have a seat here, and we can have a conversation with them, and then they can leave through this door as well. So this is what we call, again, back of the house. We have our facility services, our biomed group, our loading dock off to the right as well. Right here we actually have on-call rooms. We have 4 on-call rooms for primarily our lab and radiology staff. We do support the practice here 24/7, meaning if we get an emergency in the middle of the night, we want to make sure that we have those staff available for us to help us. We have a 15-minute response time from the time emergency comes to when we have to have services available. So a lot of the times our staff will spend the night here. So all of our mechanics for the whole building is actually located on the other side of these walls. Can't obviously get in there for reasons that are obvious, just because we want to make sure that those areas are contained and safe. Our materials management space is also right here, so all of the materials that come into the facility to help support patient care get stored in this room right here and then get transported up the back elevator here to the floors, to the first floor and second floor. So we're on the main floor again. This is the employee entrance. So at the very end of this hallway is the hallway that all of the employees that work here every day will use. We park in the main parking lot. We have our own parking so that we free up space in the front of the building for our patients and visitors. Here we have 2 time clocks. We also have some digital signage to inform staff of maybe events coming up, news that is really important that they may need to know. We've also commissioned some raised lettering that's going to go above our time clocks that says the needs of the patient come first, and that's Mayo's mission statement. So every day as we check into work, it's a good reminder of the reason why we come to work every day. We have 2 locker rooms also on the left-hand side. You'll notice that the men's locker room is significantly smaller than the women's. We also have a lactation room that we put in right across from the women's locker room. That's a need that we've had in our current facility since such a large portion of our staff are female within childbearing age. It's really hard for them to find a space to do that kind of stuff. And so we provide a fridge and a breast pump for them. So this is the back side of the emergency room we'll be coming up to. We have a supervisor's office here. We also have a physician on-call room. So much like our radiology and lab staff, we also have a provider that's here 24 hours over the course of the weekend. One of the things that, like I mentioned earlier, we do see a lot of trauma off of 52. This is the hallway right here, like I said, on the back side of the emergency room where the patients would come through if they need to get a CT scan. So we designed this so that it's really close proximity, so they can literally come right through here and come right up here to our new CT scanner. It's a 64-slice CT scanner, brand new, hasn't seen a patient yet. Our current facility, we have a 16-slice, so this is literally 4 times faster. We're also able to transmit images to Rochester. So as soon as the patient is scanned here, those images are sent to Rochester, they're read, and then the results are called back to the ED provider.
We have 2 X-ray rooms right across the hall from each other. Before they were on opposite sides of the building. We also have a tech space right here. So it's very nice that if I need assistance, I can stick my head outside one of the rooms, and then I will be able to get somebody's help right away because they're going to be right here. Also, at the end of the hall here, we have the ultrasound room and the mammography room. What I do like is that the department is all in one area. Right now, we're currently running all over the building. Some days I feel like I run a marathon. So, also in the facility, we currently have the X-ray machine, the mammography machine and the bone density machine. We're in the same room, so we could never do the exams at the same time. So
we're right in front of the laboratory. You'll notice there's a blood draw room right here. Like I mentioned, we have the 2 blood draw rooms on either side. We also have a DOT toilet for drug testing for local businesses. We do a lot of those. Some neat features about that is that we actually have a water turn-off switch so that no one can tamper with the water, so they can't dilute a sample, for example. All those little things you have to think of, right? People are sneaky.
We designed it with an open concept so that staff could see each other, communicate more freely versus being kept back in corners and not available. The other thing we have designed is a core concept, meaning that 90% of our work is done in this area, so we'll have chemistry, hematology, coag, which is primarily the work we do, and that tech, after hours, we staff blood tech, so we can get most of the work done very efficiently right here. We also have blood bank back in the corner. We currently stock 6 O-POS, 6 A-POS, and 2 O-neg units in the house at all times. Anything else we need is highway patrolled or capped from St. Paul. As we kind of work more closely within the river corridor, we'll be sharing some of those things with Red Wing. Same thing with Lake City. We also have a tube system station here. In the new facility, we'll be offering room draws in the clinic. So no longer will you have to come over here and have your blood drawn. We will be over there, we'll draw patients, tube the samples back here for the techs to start working on them. We have also another station in the inpatient floor. In the mornings, we go up and draw 10, 12 patients. It can take an hour. That means those samples wait in order for they even get started on the first patient. So we'll draw a patient, tube it down here. Techs will be here waiting to start the work. So the turnaround time in the morning will be much quicker. We also have microbiology back in that area. Separate room and sometimes a little bit of a smelly area. Once again, with the open concept, I have a window in microbiology and also a window in the manager office just so that it's more connected as part of the room.
So we have we also provide some vending right here. So as our emergency room patients come in here, a lot of the time they bring family members with them, and when they get called back, a lot of the times they're left out here to wait for a few minutes. So it's really nice that we have some vending available. We also have a toilet here. Again, we have plumbed coffee, which is extremely important. Across here we have our meditation room. This is the Center for Hope. This was a donated space as well. The panels in the back of the wall, we're talking about possibly changing out with the seasons. So it's really a lovely space. So this is the main emergency room department. The outside doors are open 24/7. The inside doors here lock at 10 p.m. and then reopen at 6. So in the event that we see patients between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., they're actually buzzed in by a staff member who will man this desk again 24/7. We want to make sure that we're maintaining safety for our staff as well, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning. You just never know what's going to come up. So the other thing, again, you see the helicopter pad there with the helicopter. As we do transport patients out about 2 times a week on average. Like I mentioned earlier, we do see a lot of trauma off of 52, and those patients really need to get acute care fast. So our job here is to make sure that they're stabilized and safe to be transported. It's about a 20-minute chopper ride from here to St. Mary's Hospital in Rochester. We have 3 helicopter services that generally fly in here. We have Mayo 1, we have Lifelink, and I believe North Memorial also fly in here. We have a triage room right here as well. So as there are times where we get full, and we want to make sure that we're seeing patients who are more critically first. It's really important. So if we head back into the emergency room here, we have a total of 5 treatment rooms. We have 3 treatment rooms, 2 critical care bays. So this room is really unique compared to the other 2 treatment rooms. This is our behavioral room. In the event that we have a patient that presents, maybe who's threatening to harm themselves, we will put them in this room. It's designed so that the patient can't harm themselves. The light fixtures are such that they're non-strangulation. You'll notice the door handles like this. You can't tie anything around them. All of the medical gases, the sink, everything gets contained behind a locked door. We also have a TV built into the wall with Gorilla Glass, so it can't be broken. We also have a closed circuit camera in here that we can watch those patients all the time at the nurse's desk. If we get the 3 a.m. bar person that comes in a little bewildered and a little combative, we do have the ability to lock down this room. You heard the lock. It's a magnetic lock, so they can't get out, so they can't harm anyone. We do require police assistance, though, if that happens, and it's usually really it's to make sure that we're safe and that they're safe from themselves, so that we make sure that in the event that happens, we usually call the police department. They're very quick to get here, but we do need something in the interim from the time it takes the call to get there for them to come and respond. So
these are going to be our main trauma bays or critical care bays. And if you want to come in and look inside here, so if a patient has like a motor vehicle accident, a stroke, heart attack, anything major, you can come into this room. This is a brand new piece of equipment for us. It's called a boom, kind of a strange thing, but it moves up and down, backward, side to side, and even go back, and it goes on either side of the patient. So the patient, we have to have more stuff on this one side, we can go to the other side, so it makes it more convenient. No more wires over the patient, no more tubes, everything you need is in here. so we don't have to go and get it or put the tubes over your face, your chest, or your arms like we do now. In this room also we'll have our own med box that will be just for the patients in this room. No more going to the Pyxis. We'll be able to open it up when we need it right away. Everything will be right there and we'll get it immediately. This monitor here goes out to the nurse's station and at the provider desk also, so we'll be able to see everything that's going on at the same time, which is good. This room is pretty much identical to this room over here, but that's going to be ped specific. So they'll have a lot of pediatric intubation in there, pediatric meds, so those will be all specific meds for pediatric patients in there. I have to put some more pediatric things in there to make it look more peds, but yeah, it's nice to have a separate room just for the pediatric patients. But they're both monitored at the front desk.
In the event that we have a patient that presents to the emergency room who may not be safe to come inside the facility, so for example, if it's a farmer who spills anhydrous on themselves, we don't want to bring that gas into the building. So we actually have a specific room here to decontam a person. So we actually will spray them down. Something unique about this room, there's actually a switch on the wall that activates the drain, so that we can either choose for the material that can either go into the main water system, into the sewer, or it goes into a holding tank in the basement that we have to have actually tested and pumped out. So if we get a person that presents maybe on a backboard with a lot of glass and blood and things like that, we might spray them off to keep our staff safe. But diesel fuel, anhydrous, cleaning fluids, things like that that we don't want to get into the facility will come through here first. Our ambulance bay is a drive-through bay. The ambulance will come through here and exit through there. We have room in here for 2 ambulances at the same time if we need to. You'll notice that there's also those pipes coming down into that contained area there. That's also for disaster training or activation. There's actually 6 showers in there. So in the event that we have a mass casualty of any kind, we can make sure that patients are safe to come again into the facility. We don't want to cause more harm by bringing a patient in. We want to make sure that they're treated before they get in here. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for coming out today.